Really good at see a lot of people
Oh, no kidding.
People like that contract, and then they finalize it. She's the one who, I'm gonna ask her, can you look at your duty? Tell me everything you do that's hard. We could run it the same way. I mean, the worst case scenario is if something wrong with it, but that's.
There's a couple things about that too, I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, hey Dick, are you busy Wednesday at 5:30?
Yep, I do trivia at the Legion every Wednesday.
Alright, well, they wanna meet, Senator wants to go over that final contract, me and Eric will do it, I guess. It's not anything, I mean, they're just, it's what we all agreed to, we just wanna make sure everything's right.
Why don't you stop by tomorrow if you get a chance? If you wanna, we'll go over it together.
Oh, she's bringing what she retyped.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll get with you before we present it to the council.
Oh, all right, good.
Under the paper.
Yeah. There's Good evening, everyone. Thanks for the slight delay for putting up with us here for a second. We'll open the meeting at 7:04 p.m. All order, and I'll ask our clerk if she will call roll, please.
Lawrence,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Steers,
Yes.
Denman,
I haven't heard from him.
Piper,
here.
M. Mathers,
Here.
G. Mathers.
Here. Okay, we do have a quorum, 6 people, 6 trustees are here. If you would, please stand and join me in saying the pledge of allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on the agenda, of course, is approval of our agenda. It has, we do have a second one given to us tonight. I'll make a motion, we accept the agenda as amended.
I will second that.
conversation? All in favor of accepting the agenda as amended, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next, we go to the meeting minutes of our regular meeting of 7/21/25.
I'll make a motion, we accept the regular meeting minutes of 7/21/25 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by trustee Lawrence, supported by trustee M. Mathers to approve the regular meeting minutes 7/21/25 as presented. Discussion? Kathy?
Page 5, the last paragraph, where it says, motion by Piper, second by Lawrence to approve a public hearing to be held on August 29th. It's supposed to be August 18th, I think. August 29th, I think it's like a Friday.
You are correct.
18th.
Or 14 would be 18.
You are correct.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Any other comments or changes? If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of 7/28, or 7/21/25 as amended by changing the date on the last page from August 29 to August 8.
She should probably just pass it.
Oh, yeah, we already,
Yes, she's low.
okay, yeah, you're right, the resolution already made, my problem, my fault. Would you
Yes, I
amend your
will
motion?
make that amended.
Okay, second by
Me.
Mayor. Okay, now all in favor of the revised motion, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, opposed, say no. That motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4, payment of bills. What I show in the bills, are regular bills, street improvement by S&D, 18,271.07, Morris Excavating, 8,500, and other regular bills, 10,990.21. So what I call regular bills, 37,761.28. And then we have a billing from Grand River, 88,281.32. So total bills, 126,042.60. 126,042.60.
126,042.60.
And again, as far as the sewer line goes, or the sewer plant, Grand River billed for 88,281.32 of that total. Any questions, comments?
I have a couple questions. On page 8, Morris Excavating Services contracted, $8,500. Bottom, page 8.
They had to do some repair work on some asphalt and storm and concrete. It was done by Surf Internet, did the damage. We're paying the bill, Surf Internet is paying us.
Was asphalt like a road repair?
More like a driveway, I believe.
Surf is paying the whole 8,500.
Yes.
And then on page 9, the last bottom, State of Michigan, NPDES municipal application, $400.
That.
Oh, I can explain that. discharge permit expired, so it had to be renewed. And it cost, obviously, $400.
So did we, send this in time to be able to get it renewed on time?
I'm sorry,
Is it renewable on time to be able to use it now when we
Yes.
need it?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Discharge for what?
Sewer treatment plant.
Okay.
Then the original one was for a year. Maybe 2 years, but anyway.
Thank you.
And then on page 10, storm training and consulting. It says education.
It's for the police officers. Storm is like the company.
Oh. So do you know what kind of training it was for them?
That one is, the threat response course for Adam Stark.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else with questions or comments on our bills tonight? Okay, again, the amount, total payment would be $126,042.60.
I will make a motion that we pay the bills in the amount of $126,042.60.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Piper, supported by trustee M. Mathers, to pay the bills in the amount of $126,042.60. Final comments? Okay, clerk call roll, please.
Paper. Yes. M. Mathers. Yes. G. Mathers.
Yes.
Lawrence. Yes. King.
Yes.
Steers.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, next is a moment for public comment. Anyone would like to address council, please feel free to go to the podium if you're able. And ask questions, we are limiting everyone to 3 minutes to make a statement or ask questions. So anyone would like to make themselves available to that, now's the time. Okay, seeing no one go, we'll go ahead and go on with our agenda. Visitor presentation, one. Unfinished business, page 29 starts, wastewater treatment plant.
No, public hearing.
This one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said you would, that was one. Okay.
This is not your normal public hearing. In other words, it's not a chance for people to comment on council action. This public hearing was required by the CDBG grant for housing restoration or rehabilitation grant. And it's meant to afford people the opportunity to ask questions about that grant, about what's going on with it, next step and so forth. Excuse me. Cassandra Hosteller is the one who has been working with the CDBG on this. And hopefully she can answer questions you might have, but it's still relatively new. So I promise you she will, if anybody knows anything about it, it's going to be Cassandra. And she will try to answer questions. I'm going to suggest, I don't know how many people here might be here to ask questions about it, but I'm going to suggest a departure from normal so that if people have a second or third question that comes to mind, that they have the opportunity to ask it.
Okay, I would agree to that. Okay. Anyone have any questions at this time?
I have
a procedural question.
Yes.
If it's a public hearing, you have to open a public hearing by motion and, you know, just follow the layout, you know?
Yep.
Wait a minute. So now it's a public hearing, or we could have to make a meeting for a public hearing? Are we doing it now?
Yes, it's a public hearing now. I mean, this was already in the paper, it's already been advertised. I know that at least one of our attendees saw it in the paper, probably more than that, but yes. Like I say, it's not something the council is going to be involved in, but it's sanctioned by the council so that people have an opportunity to ask questions.
So normally then you would, if you're not actually participating, you would recess and open a public hearing. And then when the public hearing is done, you would come back into session as the council.
Nice catch.
Okay. Well, I guess at this time, we should close the regular meeting and open the public hearing. For the purpose of Mishta Community Block Grant. Close the meeting regular meeting at 7:18 and open the public hearing at 7:18.
We need a motion for that, or just close?
Would you make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Support.
All in favor? Closing the meeting and opening the public hearing for the Mishta Community Block Grant, say yes. Yes. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. We're now at the public hearing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any basic information that we can even look at? I don't even understand other than what I saw in the flyer.
Can I speak?
Yes.
First of all, if you would like, I have a
Thank
paper that gives information for anyone to contact me. I'm Cassandra Hostetler, and I am the person who is filling out the application. There's been a process. It started with a letter of intent, and we submitted that, and it was accepted, and then we were given the opportunity to submit a designation memo in which the state, the Mishta, said that we had $200,000 designated for our village, but that is contingent on the application being completed and accepted. And once that happens, then we will be given the grant. So we do not currently have the money, it's just simply designated. As far as the purpose of the hearing, that is simply so that anyone, a resident of the village, would have the opportunity to look over the materials. And the materials include the community development plan, or our 5-year plan. I have a hard copy right here tonight, and on the paper I gave you, it lists the Village of Constantine website and steps to find that same manual online, as well as I have, in this binder, I have hard copies, so that if you would like to see the actual application, you're more than welcome to do that. Or I could email you a version of it. I mean, it'd be the exact same thing, and I could do that if you would like, but it's here for you to look at tonight. And any other information, you're welcome to contact me, and my information's on that flyer.
All right, I thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Is there information on the village website? Is there a go-to place easily accessible for, thank you?
Anybody else like to talk?
I have a question. Is there an actual timetable? I attended the April 22nd meeting, and we're running 2 months behind, which didn't surprise me, but if we're going to get any of the repairs started before the next year, which is what we've been told the state wants done, because the money is sitting there waiting for us, then we're supposed to have some kind of application committee in place to help with the applications and the approvals of what areas are actually going to be accepted by the village. This is just according to the April 22nd meeting.
There will be a criteria established. Mostly, the main criteria has to do with the low to moderate income household. Besides that, there will be further determination on the specifics of who qualifies. And once again, in this manual, the CDBG policy manual, which is here and online, you can see a list of the items that we could be applying to this grant. In our case, we will be focusing on, I'm sorry, the phrase is slipping me, energy efficiency, safety. So it would be large projects first will be the focus, roofs, furnaces, possibly windows. And we have the $200,000, so if we don't have enough people asking for the money, then we'll just keep doing large projects. But if we have, you know, a lot of people and we spend that money quickly, I mean, if we get down to just a few dollars, then we'll be putting light bulbs in people's homes. It'll be that simple. I mean, that's simple to determine where to spend money.
Okay, so you're basically repeating what the other gentleman said at the 22nd meeting, April 22nd meeting. By this time, my understanding from that meeting is that there should be a committee in place to say, yes, this is not just the general list, this is exactly what we're looking for.
That has not been determined yet.
Okay.
There is no committee yet.
So there is no actual timeline for the committee, for the applications to go to the state, for the state approval.
The state deadline is September 17th for the application.
I have a question.
We're running over.
I thought they were gonna put the committee together to help determine that. That was part of his presentation, that they would have people that be able to figure that out, that the council wouldn't decide that.
The council is not deciding who is working on this. As I'm understanding it, and as I have been guided by the gentleman who presented in February, there will be a team of people involved in this, and a third-party administrator will be a part of this team.
And that's on them to set that up and determine.
Well, ultimately, it falls to us.
Okay, I guess I'm confused, because if they're supposed to take care of it, it falls on us to make them take care of it?
It falls on us to make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed.
How can we do that if they're forming the committees and they haven't done it yet?
Well, there is no committee. It's simply going through and trying to make sure, first of all, having a third-party administrator being a part of this process. That is part of the grant as well. When we applied, or when we submitted the letter of intent, there was an opportunity to have a 18% third-party administrator fee applied, and we have that secured as part of the designation memo. So this person will receive $36,000 to help implement the grants for these
Who is
areas.
that person, I guess?
Well, at the moment, I'm submitting RFPs, so I do need to find the person. I have one in mind, one person who's been introduced to me through the man who presented this initially. I went to a conference or a training session in Lansing back in May, and I happened to meet another third-party administrator, so I have access to a list of names if I need that, but ultimately it's on me to find the third-party administrator and then also to follow through with making sure the third-party administrator does everything that they're supposed to do. I know I did go to Three Rivers about a week and a half ago when I spoke with the girl who is working on the CDBG grant in Three Rivers, and there are no third-party assistants in Three Rivers because it brings a level of complexity as far as making sure that the third-party administrator is also being held accountable for everything. To be honest, there's a lot of detail that I'm still sorting through. But as far as a committee goes, it really falls on us to look for the contractors, look for, and if I have the third-party administrator, that person will be doing most of that type of work also. the committee, I'm not sure where the committee is coming in at, if there ever will be one.
Okay, and I'm assuming, and I can't remember his name, I have too much brain
Clayton
damage.
Wazinski.
There you go. Yeah, because he works with Sturgis and he did the county for July, I think he said he ran it out. But he was the one who mentioned that, yes, that, I don't know that it's a council, but the village, I don't know what else it would be, would appoint this committee to help oversee the actual applications.
He said that.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not completely gone, that's good to know. Okay. But we have until September to get the applications.
The application,
Well,
the application is the focus right now. That is simply so that we will even be allowed to have this money. Right now, it's just simply set aside, like if Constantine can have the money, then they have to do what we say we want them to do. And when they get the application, if they like it, then we get the money. And until they like it, we don't have the money. And then we can do more of the individual homeowner applications based on the criteria that will be set up by this committee. So far, this committee is me.
so the individual homeowner application does not have to be filed with the village or the state by the September 17th deadline.
No, absolutely not. That's, at that point, at this point, the application is for our village to submit the application.
But he sent me a copy of the application, and I just kind
Yeah.
of paled when I went, oh, this is not all for me to do.
No, this is the application. This is about, I don't know, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9 pages long at least, just for the first part, and then there's the supplemental application for the homeowner rehab. So,
Because we're supposed to be meeting with a contractor tomorrow.
no, don't do that.
Oh, well, we're gonna do it one way or the other, so.
Not if you're relying on this right now.
Oh, I stopped relying on that.
Well,
Completely, because I never got a straight answer. Are we in or are we out for our project?
there is only a process of getting to the application up to this
At
point.
this point, okay.
And if you would like, there's also a homeowner rehab quick finder. It's
Yep.
also a part of the CDBG policy manual. If you go through it and click on the links, you'll get to this page, and it identifies who would be eligible, as far as certain actions that can even make you ineligible. For example, if you're, hoping that your roof will be repaired, don't start pulling roofing off of your house, because you will be ineligible if you touch it. So that's just,
And that's just
one
basically the
small
state
detail.
website. That's basically the state website.
it's Michigan,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's on that paper.
Okay, thank you.
So how goes the application process? It's gotta be in by September or whatever. Are we close to having it done and start moving or not?
Well, we just received the designation memo, saying that we could, after we sent the designation memo to them, then they countersigned, and then they sent me the application. So I didn't even have the application in my hands until just a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so I guess I come back to how much longer before you can resend it back?
Oh, no, it's already been done, and then they gave me the application. They did their countersigned duties.
But there's one more thing we gotta send then, right, before September, whatever?
No, now I work on the application. We had to follow the other parts of the timeline, which is to have a public hearing. So we're here, and now we can do the
Okay, I guess
application.
I'm not finding it. So what's gotta be done by September 17th?
The application for Constantine to receive the funds.
Which you are working on.
Sure.
When do you think that might be done?
Well, hopefully before September 17th.
I didn't know if you had a date in mind, or, how long it takes to get it done, I have no idea, so I just was curious if you thought, hey, would it be right to the wire, or do I get it done 2 weeks at a time, or?
I've never done a CDBG grant before,
Good.
and so I would say
Mhm.
we'll find out. We'll do the best we can.
Okay.
I will do the best I can.
Okay.
There's no committee.
It was a fun thing, so.
Thank you for that information. Anyone else, questions, comments?
May I just quickly ask, are you being paid and by whom? Or is this all out of the goodness of your heart? I doubt, but I'm just,
I'm the administrative assistant working for the village,
okay.
so
Okay,
I'm Mark's
very good.
helper.
Okay.
And
I've been gone for 7 weeks, so I did not meet you yet. Good,
yeah, so this is something that
thank you.
we're all working together on as far as input and comments and opinions, I'm sure.
I'm Mark Vogue.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for your diligence there, keeping us on track, it sounds like, so I appreciate that very much. Okay, any other questions regarding this? Okay, if not, we'll move on to unfinished business. Excuse me, still catching. Yes, yes, we will close the special meeting here for the public hearing at 7:32 and reopen the Constantine Village Council meeting at 7:32.
We need a motion for that, Mayor.
No. Okay, now we can move on to unfinished business. Page 29, water treatment plant update.
There's not really anything new to report, other than I think that the tour is still scheduled for August 21st. The thing we've been dealing with lately is, we can't receive any dye, any effluent with dye in it. And we've been getting that from a couple of industries in town, but they are working to resolve that, and hopefully that will be done by the end of this week. So until then, obviously, we can't open and start treating sewer ourselves, but that's okay, because we're not in a position to do that yet. We're still on schedule, as far as I know, for late August, more than likely early September, to be independent, to abandon the force main and operating on our own.
What about the superintendent position?
I'm sorry.
Superintendent position?
I don't have one yet. What I'm left with having to do is contract temporarily with Fleece and Vandenbrink Ops, who will provide, they don't really provide a superintendent, but they do provide an operator, and they can get us through the stages until we have a superintendent. I have one application for the superintendent position, and I know I'm going to be receiving an application for an operator, a person actually who comes highly recommended, but he doesn't have a Class B license or a Level B license, so we're still waiting to hire the superintendent.
You said that no dye can be sent through,
Correct.
ever?
I'm gonna put it this way, not so that it's detectable, right? And we've been working with fiber on that.
I'm not talking about fiber as much as ox.
Been working with both of them. So, I'm reasonably certain we're gonna be able to get past that, hopefully within a week. But, yeah, we were receiving, dyes probably from both of those industries, so.
I know I talked to someone at Fibers and there was a spill of some ink, but it was a one-time thing and it wasn't all that much. He didn't think it would be detectable, but.
I think the reason it hadn't been detected until now is because we don't see the sewer. Of course, it goes straight to Three Rivers, and it's been so diluted between Michigan Milk and our citizens and businesses that they don't, by the time it gets to Three Rivers, it's so diluted that it hasn't been detectable. But it's very much detectable at our plant, so.
So with all the new technology we have used, why can't they take any ink in the system?
Why can't they what?
Take any ink? I mean,
Well, primarily because we can't send the discharge substance with ink.
There's no way to get it out.
You can't separate it, like,
Yeah. But,
Might be an issue.
like in White Pigeon, at the paper mill, they use a dye for one type of board that they have. But when they do it, they put all that back into their recycled water, they don't,
And I think that's what
they're gonna have to
the
do it.
industries here are working on, so,
Okay.
Byron has been doing all this.
I don't pretend to understand the chemistry involved, but I do know that they are making other arrangements to dispose of the color thing.
Okay.
So was there ever like a contingency plan if this happens, that we have, what happens down the line if, while we're running, a spill happens?
Did you say a spill happens?
Yeah, the ink spill,
No.
that ink.
I don't have the answer
The
to that.
engineers
but the
never
answer
gave like a
It's gotta be
contingency.
zero tolerance, so if they can't send, I'm gonna call it cleansed water, then they're gonna have to find some other means to dispose of it, so. And they're aware of
That's
it, they're not pushing
not
back
that
at all,
hard.
so.
We'll have to find a different way.
Yeah. Cause in White Pigeon, all their dye, they use the dye to make crap back, which is a dark color for the back of the board. And they had to contain that dye all the time. It was not allowed to be anywhere that went outside. It had to be set up near, if it was set up near a drain, it had to be a drain that drained back into the recycle system. That's not, it shouldn't be, they're gonna have to spend money to do it, but it shouldn't be that difficult for them to do.
The whole thing.
Well, I mean, it's the same as certain chemicals, you know, that can't go into the water. They have to contain those in certain areas where it can't be anywhere near a drain that goes out of the mill. Can't be that difficult for them to do. I don't think they use a lot of different, they probably only have one or two. How many does fibers use?
What, inks,
Dyes. Lots of different ones.
we're talking dyes and.
Or no, ink.
A few.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard from both, red, that's the one we're seeing, and, I think yellow. But
Yellow might be from the paper mill.
could be, yeah, but actually, I think they both admit that they use essentially the same colored dyes,
They
different
usually
processes.
flush it back. I know Irish recycles it back into their.
Ox has the ability to do that, they probably just never done it because nobody's made them.
Yeah,
Is that the only thing that you know that the technology down there is gonna refuse to accept?
I don't think it's refusing to accept it, it's just,
Wow.
once it gets in there, they can't discharge any water because they can't get it out of the
yeah,
water.
and so consequently, we cannot accept it, but, because there's no way for us to treat that water to eliminate that color.
So that means if it is and goes into the river, someone who's swimming in there turns blue?
Yeah.
And also,
And by the way, that's been a part of our ordinance since at least 96, I think, because the ordinance was, of course, amended when we started going to Three Rivers. I never realized it was there, I never had to read that far into it, and nobody's ever said, hey, you've got color coming at us, and so, again, probably because it's so diluted, they don't notice that.
and see the color they use in White Pigeon, you get it on your hands, you have to wear it off. Yeah, one little drop, covers a huge area. It's very diluted, if you spill it, you're in trouble.
Any other comments on the wastewater treatment plan update, questions?
Did we get the MMPA blockage corrected down there by their facility? Did they have to have it pumped by Kaplan a couple times?
They have it blocked?
Or wasn't their sewer blocked or something? Is that why they had to have it pumped?
Something under the road,
Maybe not blocked is the right word, maybe, whatever they had to have it, Kaplan came in and had to remove their sewer from down there.
Yeah, so, well, they're not, our sewer line is blocked now, they can't get into our sewer line, but in terms of.
That was before they went on their own though.
Yeah, well, the day they went on their own, the next day, our sewer line was closed, so so it's inaccessible, both for them and for Dairy Distillery.
Is Dairy Distillery running yet?
I'm not sure if they're actually operating. They do, both MMPA and Dairy Distillery, what we call domestic waste, bathrooms, showers, etc. Those still come to us, but their industrial waste does not. When and whether Dairy Distillery ever has industrial waste, I assume so, but I don't think that they're actually operating the business yet.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on, Florence Road update.
Okay, I explained in the memo in the packet that the primary work is done. We've got a bit of follow-up work to be done, some things that weren't done the way that we'd hoped for, or that need to be fixed. One of the issues was some flooding that happened at A1 Towing. That was only one of the issues. They installed a mound of dirt, for lack of a better definition, better explanation, on Industrial Drive. That's gotta come down because we can't get access to some of the utilities there. There are several things that do need to be addressed, and Marcus Walke and their engineer. In fact, I think, Mike, to some extent, you've been involved in the Florence Road, haven't you, or not? And we're working with them to put together a list of things that still need to be done.
Did the engineers allow for that when they put this big plan in place to put that road in? They didn't allow for the flooding to go into those businesses?
Yeah, so, some of the drainage that didn't work out the way that we wanted it to or planned. But again, they've got I don't wanna call it a tickler file, but they do have a list of, or will have a list of final work that needs to be done, so.
I'm gonna say the way they did those sewer drains, they're just gonna fill up with dirt. If we get a real big rain, the way they did them, they just put dirt on them for grass seed, they gotta line those with rock or something. Otherwise that sewer, it's just gonna fill up with dirt.
That's exactly what happened at A1 Towing. According to Marcus, we had 2 inches of rain that day. Now, that's a pretty remarkable amount of rain in one day, but I don't care if it's 4 feet of rain, that still should not have happened, so.
So do we have to pay for all those changes, or is that?
No, most of it will be a part of the original contract, because there's always a closing list that they have to attend to, that they need to address. Whatever happens, it should not exceed our budgeted amount, so, and I will keep an eye on that, so, I don't wanna pay for something twice.
Yeah.
Mark, a little explanation, we call it a punch list.
Yeah.
And, now I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, there was a basin that was put up wrong, like wrong elevation, grading wasn't around it, done properly, so, yeah, there's a few other things that need to be cleaned up, so.
Retention pond for one thing, I just heard about that the other day,
Yeah.
out front, fibers there. That needs to be taken care of. Does the drains from the new system that they put in on Industrial Drive or in Florence go into that retention pond?
I don't know exactly where it's going. I do know that what we've seen so far has not been satisfactory, but they were gonna put in a storm drain, and I think some of it's probably going to the retention pond, but I really can't tell you for sure to what extent. So.
Other questions, comments? Okay. Move on to the next page, the fire station update.
I will, you got a memo that I gave you about the fire station and the fact that we got the preliminary application in. for the loan, but my hero, Mike DeVries is here to talk about that further.
Mike?
Yes, as Mark said, the loan is in the pre-application stage, kind of what we talked about, the last couple of meetings. And they're reviewing it, we won't hear anything till December, is typically, is what we're expecting with the timeline that's going on. But Mark's gone through a lot of back and forth with the USDA, and seems like all the checks are taken care of. Yeah, there are two little things that they asked, but it's just something of, they saw an article somewhere, so it's not even really, so they just want a little feedback on an article that talked about something pretty minor. So other than that, they talked about the construction not starting until the loan is approved. However, if for some strange reason the village wanted to move forward, they outlined the way that we could do it. There's a lot of explanations where they give us A through E in regards to what has to be done, and kind of show them extensively of why it had to go ahead before the loan. So, not something that people typically do. So, timeline that we laid out, started before December and then issuing a loan, wouldn't really happen by the time we get through the schematics, and the architectural plans and the construction plans will be after December, getting ready for a spring bid. So, timing works really well if we start soon.
One of the questions that rural development asked me was, you increased the loan application from 3.1, I'm sorry, roughly 2 million to 2.5 million. I think I got my numbers right. And is that a problem? And my answer was, no, I don't foresee that as a problem for several reasons. Number one, that projected $3.5 million project, $3.5 million construction, was assuming that construction happened in 27. So that almost certainly would have carried price increases on materials and so forth. So now we are aiming to have the construction happen in 2026. So to avoid at least some of the presumed cost increases. And secondly is Mike DeVries and Mike Hayden are talking about some changes in scope to the construction itself. Probably would involve lower expense for us. So I'm thinking that 3.5 million, drop that back down to 3.1 or 3.2, and then whatever adjustments they make on the building itself would more than likely save a little bit more money. And I know that the two gentlemen, Mike Hayden and Mike DeVries, have spoken briefly. Mike's been out of town, but he's going to be back in town on Wednesday. And I'm assuming that you're going to schedule a meeting with Mike at the earliest opportunity. So I know I could be a little bit more specific, but I don't know exactly how much changes to the structure itself, how many changes there would be to scale back the cost a little bit. But what I'm telling you is that 3.5 is almost certainly well beyond what we need to borrow. But I don't know how far we go below that $3 million. And again, it's only $1.5 million because $1.5 million came in the form of a grant from Congressman Wolberg's office. So,
How fast do you expect an action to get back to us on, once Mike gets back in town?
Well, we did put together the scope for the schematic work, stuff that has to be done. Well, we have environmental work that we wanna get done, right away, so that we can get the building taken down. The funds are there for that work. And then also, as Mark was saying, working with the chief and getting into the schematics, trying to figure out, he is being very frugal. He does not want to put anything that doesn't need to be in there. So what we have in the plan, you know, just rough numbers of what we typically will see, as Mark alluded to, it will be what he needs and not much more than what he needs, so. But that's what the schematic phase is for. We look at a layout, we talk about the program, what he needs, what he doesn't need, and make sure that everything's aligned. Once we get through the schematic and the concept planning, and then with the program, we know exactly what the dollar amount will be for the loan. But like I said, once again, we're early in the stage. There's, you know, stages that we take, concept, schematic, then into architectural and construction, and right now we're looking at concept and schematic stage to narrow down the cost, and that way we're not designing something that we don't need to have in there. So. Yes?
You said the demolition can happen anytime or in a time frame. What is the time frame for that? What are we waiting for, I guess?
We're waiting for the work that is outlined here, going through a hazardous material survey, trying to figure out what's actually in the building. And then after that survey is done, identifying those things in a set of specifications and a demolition plan, so that a contractor knows what he's gonna deal with and what he has to do to close up the site, we call it. And then a couple other things, the due care compliance. That's really just a report that says, you know, the village is gonna do X, Y, and Z to make sure that any problems that were there is not gonna continue. So those are the three things. There's also something that, the notice that was from Eagle, that is, you were noticed because a report wasn't turned in, even though it wasn't necessarily your responsibility. And since you didn't buy the property, it was acquired through taxes, you're not liable, the village isn't liable for anything that's there. That just has to be explained to Eagle so that they're happy. But those are the three things: material survey, demolition plans and specs. Those are for the demo. The compliance is to say, we're doing this, and when we're doing this for the demo, and what we're doing for the site, that's your due care plan, so that Eagle knows you're trying to, you're not going to expand what the problem originally was.
I guess, and I don't try to be rude on this, but that building's been sitting there for how many years now with nothing being done with it? This process has been discussed for 3 years, and we still don't have any answers, my answers anyway, on a time frame of when this can be done. I mean, you say, yes, it's in the process. It's in the process, it's in the process, but what are the time frames? We have our hands tied doing nothing.
Okay, if the council votes for this scope to be moved forward, we will have, the survey will be done within a month. And it takes about 2.5 weeks to get the results back. Once we can start the specifications at that time, we can work on the demo plan, getting the base together. And once we get the facts of what's in the building, we can finalize the specs. Probably we can have it ready. I'd say 3 months, but probably somebody's gonna kick me and say 4 months. So I would say we could have it ready for the fall, late fall for.
It's gonna take them a while to get the asbestos
Oh, yeah.
before before they can even tear the building down, they gotta clear all that
I
out.
know that. But we've been talking and discussing this.
I don't disagree with what you're
The
saying.
USDA would not let us do the asbestos, they said, don't touch it. Not until you have our okay, don't touch it.
Yeah.
So,
It's because they don't want to get sued. Somebody, for it being in the air, somebody claiming they got cancer.
I tried to arrange it once and the gal we were dealing with originally, just about bit my head off. She said, don't you dare. If you touch anything, all bets are off, the lawn is gone, et cetera.
So will there be a good section of woods that needs taken out too, or is it just the current open?
That property doesn't own much of that woods. Nobody knows who owns the woods. Nobody knows who owns that woods over there.
I thought on
The woods behind that, next to it,
the, yeah,
nobody's know who owned that woods for 100 years.
I thought on their map they had that it looked bigger than just the DNS parking lot.
Very likely, yeah, so I don't know how far that's going to extend to the east, so.
I think my grandparents tried to buy that woods 30 years ago, and nobody could tell you who owned it. Because at the time, there was an old house in there, and it burned down, and there's an old foundation in there. But I think the dirt road that goes out that way from it, the backside of it, where the edge of the woods, I think that's pretty much the boundary. To where that wood, they won't have to cut much out of that woods.
I don't know. And then is the 88 for the professional fees, is that a part of the overall project quote, or is that a separate fee?
That's within the 3.5 million. Yeah, we always wanna make sure it's in that total budget.
Is that part of the 200,000 or whatever it was police was gonna receive for the project and the one you gave us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that falls within that number, right?
Yeah, basically what we did was we took our number and cut it into 2 phases.
Okay.
That way we can get started on the demolition, getting that all set up, and working with the chief on identifying the building.
Then the chief got a appointment arranged yet, continue on when he gets back?
Have not, as soon as he gets back, I'll give him a call. There's a couple people on our team that we're gonna coordinate that meeting with, so. But as soon as he comes back, we'll get something set up.
Further questions?
What is this back page?
What page number are you
Oh,
The police, pamphlet
Needs
that.
a motion to go
Was that
ahead,
our house?
Ron.
That's the authorization.
We vote on
He needs a motion
He
if we
signed it.
wanna do this.
it. That's,
Did you see the date on it, October 29th, 2002?
Yes, there's a professional service agreement that has been set up with the village back then. That's our standard agreement that we set up with people. And when we write a new scope, we reference that so that you don't have to have it all every single time.
Were we supposed to do something tonight?
So, no, we just got these. Are you looking for something to be done on this tonight? We just got it. Work authorization, F&D is hereby authorized to perform the work as outlined above by amending our existing professional services agreement dated October 29, 2002.
Using the same government since 2002.
22. Oh, I'm sorry, you're
Our
right.
existing,
Yeah, that service agreement, that's our standard terms and conditions. That was set up when we first did a project in 2002. So every project or any work that we do always references that same PSA.
So do we need to vote on anything tonight?
I hope so. But
What is it?
What are we voting?
What are we voting on? Is what we're asking.
on this professional service agreement on the,
For the environmental
Fire
and
station
the
project.
schematic work.
So the motion should say, I make a motion that we approve the police and vannery. What? What
This
is
fire station.
fire station
design.
schematic design
Services.
services? Okay.
Yeah.
Go forward.
So is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion by trustee King, supported by trustee Steers. To approve the fire station schematic design services for police and Vanden Branch as presented. Further discussion, comments? Call roll on that, please.
Steve Mathers,
Yes.
Lawrence,
No.
King,
Yes.
Steers,
Yes.
Piper,
Yes.
and Mathers.
Yes.
Okay, so motion carries.
Okay.
Did, thank you.
Mark, if you wanna sign that one real quick. That copy that's there, or my copy right here.
Your signature.
He wants you to give him his money before.
No, we don't get any money right away. No, I got the, I kinda go for it, that's all. Copy of that. 8-4. Thank you. Well, we're excited to start. And we'll have more updates next week.
Actually got Tom like now older than me, I think, so.
Well, it's good to be down and
Yeah. Hey, just out of curiosity, when the bids are sent for, raising the building, would that include, or could that include something like less whatever there is in the way of value of the metal?
yes, typically when that's set up, we can have a section in the specifications that call for, what material the village wants to reclaim or use for scrap themselves, something like that. The demo companies, they will set their price kind of based on, the work to do and the value of what's inside there too, so.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we're on traffic control devices. Orders, I read Dan.
Yeah, your packets include a four-page memo, right?
I think it's 3.
I'm sorry?
I think it was only 3.
Regarding how you can determine, or when you can determine to change traffic control devices, which frankly, I didn't know existed, but, if you had a chance to read the memo, I can tell you, Dan says, you spent a number of hours putting this together and researching it and so forth, but,
A little frustrating, I think something needed to be done there, but.
Well, basically, typical government.
Yeah.
Nobody's died, so we don't wanna put something up to keep them from dying. There's not enough accidents. One should, whatever, this is ridiculous.
Okay. I guess it says it all then.
Nothing we did.
Any way to appeal or anything, or do we want to?
well, I don't know what you would appeal on, they say this is
We don't need it.
this is the Department of Transportation rules for how and where, how to decide what traffic control devices can be used and where, so, and the criteria that would create that circumstance, but, and one of those is, yeah, a high accident area. And another is that you can use traffic control devices to control speed. So, and that's an off the cuff thing, but, yeah, I think that the answer is pretty clear, that we don't qualify to change signage, at least at Centerville Street and Mill, but also not on White Pigeon Street, so.
God said, no one's been killed yet.
Yeah, I guess in short, yes.
Then we just point and say we tried, but
Okay,
Is there any way any of those trees can be cut down, or isn't there some bushes that are in the way too on that one corner, or is it just that big tree?
That is the one thing. Obviously, you've got trees, if you're heading north on Mill Street at the intersection of Centerville, yeah, there are a big tree or two that do obscure your vision. And, across the street, directly across the street at the old bed and breakfast, they've got the bushes and so forth there. So I think if we can attack it from that direction, I hate to take down beautiful, healthy trees, but the one there
two of those are massive, that'd be
does obscure your vision,
outrageous.
so.
For a stop sign.
And at the moment, I'd rather not spend the money to take that tree or those trees down. That would probably be something in the area of $2,000, $2,500. So.
Probably per tree
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
So how do you determine like pedestrian flow, and, I mean, do you just go there one time, or do you have to like monitor it for a amount of time? Cause I kinda noticed it said there wasn't much pedestrian traffic through there, and all day long between golf carts, bicycles, kids walking to the parks down there. It seems pretty high.
No, I mean, we've never done a traffic count, particularly with pedestrians, but
That was in the report, I thought, was that it was,
So there are no specific numbers that I found, and this is from the federal rule book called the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Device. And obviously that applies to little towns like this or big towns like Chicago, right? And so I think that's where the volume comes in, and there isn't anything, if everybody in town was on foot all at the same time, I don't think we would qualify. There's just not enough, right? So it doesn't affect the vehicular traffic, which is what the stop sign was before, of course.
I'll start parking on that corner then.
okay. Next, go into new business, marijuana cultivation license, page 36.
this is not new news. Fawn River had applied for another cultivation license on their premises, and then they canceled. They canceled and let that permit expire, but they are intending to apply again this fall. So I thought it was gonna be sooner than that, but when I talked with their business guy today, he said, no, more than likely it would be in the fall, so, or fall is too early, probably more like November. So I presume I will be bringing an application to you in late fall or early winter.
one that they had expired?
They,
An
the
expiration?
permit that they had, they let it expire, they didn't pay
Oh,
for the permit,
oh,
so.
okay.
I think it was a business decision at that time, but they're, well, obviously it was, but they're, preparing to apply.
Okay, other questions, comments? All right, page 37, business relocation, A1 code.
Denny Phillips is the owner of A1 Towing, and the good news is, he said, we've outgrown where we are. I mean, I'm thrilled to hear that. So far I've been happy with how they conduct themselves, with how clean they keep their lot there and so forth. But they wanna move to someplace larger, and that someplace larger is 675 Centerville. Used to be a mechanic shop there some years ago. In fact, yeah. The only concern is that there are some wetlands behind 675, and I'm not quite sure just how close they are. And I'm not sure what they would have to put in a way of containing any leaking fluid from the cars and so forth, not allowing it to get to the wetlands. Anyway, I spoke with somebody from Eagle, and he said, we are on your radar now, so, or you're on ours, I guess is a better way to put it. He said, we will look at that and we'll get back to you. If there is any risk to the wetlands, then yeah, we have to do something to contain it, or just deny their opportunity to have that business there. I was really impressed with the person I spoke with from Eagle, very helpful, very thankful that we got proactive, and we're going to check into that before we allow that business to move. The two properties are identically zoned, both are industrial, the one on Florence Road and the one on Centerville Street. So until I get further information from Eagle, and Mr. Phillips is perfectly happy with this. He doesn't want to endanger that wetland either. So until I hear back from Eagle with restrictions or instructions about what to do to protect the wetlands, he's willing to sit on his hands and wait for it. But I'm really happy to hear that he's outgrown where he is. That means that he's doing a good business, so a booming business.
Well, what's the difference between his out of repair and the one that was already there? The one that was there evidently was in compliance. Was it the auto mechanic that was there before?
Yeah,
Towing and salvage.
it's different because the one where they're at now, State Fuel had a liner under the ground because there were fuel.
Yeah, but there was, you know, where he wants to go, you
Right,
should be on.
it probably doesn't have the same lining under the ground because they didn't have a fuel, they didn't disperse fuel,
Yeah.
so it can soak into the ground. That's probably the biggest difference.
Probably that parking lot where they
Yeah.
store all the cars that they bring in,
Yeah.
not so much the mechanical part of it.
But if it was an auto shop before.
But that was inside, talking
That was
outside.
a long time ago.
Right, that's what I'm saying, so
Outside.
that's probably.
It was
what
probably way
was,
back before they
because it was
didn't care,
grandfathered.
and it dripped in the ground.
Wasn't that long.
Well, it hasn't been that long ago.
No.
Yeah, well, okay, there's a difference between an auto repair shop and a towing service. Auto repair shop, they take them inside and work on them.
Yeah, right.
They bring direct cars that leak fluids all over the ground.
No,
so they
Outside.
tow them.
Under
not
fence.
at all.
It's way
It was
different. That's
strictly
probably-
it was a repair garage.
Right.
But now for A1, they have a fenced-in area where they take the
Yeah.
cars and store them. I'm sure
They
there's,
bring them in all tore up, they're
Yeah.
probably leaking.
They're probably worried that it'll seep out of the ground
Yeah.
because it doesn't have the same environmental protection as the state fuel did.
And so worried about, do they need to install a barrier of some sort?
They probably do.
And how, I guess as much as anything else, just how close the property is to the wetlands.
Right.
I don't know, I've not been out there
They
today.
probably won't be able to store any cars anywhere near it.
I would guess you're right.
They're pretty picky about this.
That's all for our agenda items. Someone else have anything to bring up? Discuss? Comments? Okay. We'll close our meeting at 8:16 PM. Thank you for attending.
Are you going that week Wednesday?